Okay, so let's do the session. Yeah. This course is about uh, having a hands-on experience on deployment. So this training will make you capable to deploy the different code into the Kubernetes cluster on local and on AWS. So basically, it is just to depict the full process when the developer stop writing their code, what will happen after that, and those kind of the things which you need to take care in that process. This training is all about that. So it is not the core Kubernetes internals training, but it is having a hands-on experience that will give you the good coverage what happens in overall galaxy of the DevOps related to the deployment. So uh, I understand that we are from the IT background and primarily either a QA automation, dev, or maybe a DevOps. Yeah, so we are going to see what we are going to cover in this section. This is our today's agenda. And then we are going to say what you will able to get the confidence after this course. So this is very important. What is the deliverable? What is the outcome of this course? What you will able to do? We will also describe the nature of the our course, like what it means hands-on in this, and then whom this course is unsuitable. So this is also very important, not just to see that it is for me or it if it is not suitable for me as well. Also, we will go through with the prerequisite what I required to complete this course. Yeah, I hope this all making sense as a agenda. So the course is designed when we will start any lecture, any particular topic. We get the overall confidence level of the group. So we get the snapshot so that define our velocity of the course. So for example, few people might be good with the Java and AWS, but may lack into the Linux, Kubernetes, Docker, those kind of the things. So we introduce few of the key topics around the area where we feel that our overall group is need more helping hand. So this is the first exercise we do when we start the our training. Apart from that, so what kind of the problem statement we are going to see and what is going to happen in this course? Let me tell you. So first we first let's understand the real-time application. So you may have some kind of the browser where you interact with the front end. So front end can be in any language like React, Angular application, JSP, whatsoever. But this front end is the client facing application. Then you get lot of microservices which are a backend, a business logic written in them. So for example, if it is a banking application, then order management is going to be there, balance management, customer management, interest calculation, microservices. So microservices are kind of the very cohesive business requirement, but very decoupled, decoupled in nature. So you can deploy it differently onto the different pods and all. So we will see that this we are seeing that application might contains the microservices. Because this is a microservices, they have their own resources. So like the monolithic application which used to have a single var file or whatsoever, and you deploy it, and you add the complexity in that code base only, and you mainly deal with the centralized data. Microservices mainly have their own abstraction of the data. So this can be a MongoDB or MySQL. Then you don't want to rely completely on the microservices communication by themselves. You require some kind of the decoupling where microservice is creating some kind of the message, putting it in some kind of the queue. So for example, SQS queue, which AWS provide, ActiveMQ, RabbitMQ. So lot of the solution to decouple your application. So we see that different microservices decoupled in this way. And in this picture, there is one key dependency. For example, front end is directly going to communicate with the microservices. That is also we don't want. So for example, if any uh, endpoint gets changed into the front end, we don't want to change the microservices endpoint and those kind of the things. So some kind of the technical solution like API gateways comes into the picture. So it can be any AWS gateway or Java written gateway or whatsoever third party gateway. So this is kind of the architecture in general we see in the real world. Just to recap this slide, we get lot of component when we deal in the real world application. That components having a client facing application such as AngularJS or React, and the business logic written in various microservices, which can be decoupled with different queues. They have their own resources as well. And then to segregate the front end and back end, we can have the API gateway, which decoupled the controller utility. So this is our traditional architecture. How we are going to do? We will have similar architecture for our course. We will have the web application running on AngularJS, the physical realization of that. That we have the API gateway. So most of the coding has been done in backend in Java. We will have the microservices, for example, position simulator microservices and position tracker microservices. They are the Spring Boot application. So though you don't require any coding experience, but just to let you know, if you are aware of that, it will be good to understand few of the environment very well and how Spring uses it. Apart from that, we are going to use ActiveMQ, which is going to decouple the messages from the position simulator and the position tracker. So this is the architecture we have. We also have the MongoDB, where we are going to uh, get the data from this microservices and going to put it into the MongoDB database. So that is also into this picture as a resources. So any questions so far in this slide?
Yeah, in the previous and this, you just all patterns look asynchronous. If it is a synchronous pattern, like means from starting from web to till end, yeah. So queues, active MQ, all this can be achieved using asynchronous patterns, right? Like if you have any synchronous pattern, then
What do you mean by synchronous pattern?
synchronous means we are waiting for the response immediately, like means through API gateway and through microservices. And there are 2-3 microservices which this logic have, and finally we get a response.
Yeah, so from client perspective, you will use the client utility, whatsoever the means you want to say, and you just hit the your front end. So from client perspective, this front end is going to be an Angular application, which you are
Mm-hmm.
going to create. So how we are going to deploy all this, how we are going to scale all these aspects, making it high available. What will happen if this microservice will die? What will happen if this Mongo pod is going to be died? So those kind of the things we are going to see. How memory allocation we are going to give. So for example, we are going to spin off a cluster and we have 3 pod running for this microservices. What is a memory requirement? What is a CPU requirement we are going to assign it? What happens if node goes down? Apart from that, these microservices are creating a lot of logs. So how we are going to aggregate those things? So those
Oh, yeah,
kind
that.
of things we are looking. Uh,
Okay.
yeah. So from the development perspective, so we are not doing any development, but just to let you know, this all microservices development happen in Spring Boot application, which is a Java, and this front end is a AngularJS.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Got it. Yeah.
Yeah. Any further question anyone have? Okay, fine. So I'll come back again just to re-synthesize the argument here once we will see more detail about this course. So this is our introduction to Kubernetes microservices course where we start with the basic concepts. So like we got this architecture. Now developer said, I'm done with the microservices development. Front-end developer said that I'm done with the AngularJS development. Architect, engineer, solution architect, and those people said, this is the composition we are going to do. Now, as a person, as a DevOps person or as a QA, as a dev, I need a clear understanding how behind the scene this whole picture is running. So to understand that, other Kubernetes comes into the picture. So we will start to understand the basic concept of Kubernetes, like what is pod, replica set, deployment, and this we will use on our own machine. So the good thing about Kubernetes is it's vendor agnostic. So whatsoever we are going to design on our local host, local machine, is going to be applicable on AWS, Azure with very few minor configuration changes. So here we will start with our journey with the basic concepts. Yeah. And we understand why Kubernetes becomes so successful into the market and what is a buzzword about Kubernetes, why, what it brings to the table as a problem resolver. Then we will try to host our microservices on AWS. So the picture we have seen in the last slide, the whole composition we will bring onto the AWS. So here we will, as I said earlier, we capture the team capability. If team required little support onto the AWS side, we will provide some additional sessions on AWS. So you feel much more comfortable to go onto the cloud. But here the objective remains same. Whatsoever we learned in a basic concept state, we are going to host the full composition onto the microservice, onto the cloud, that is a AWS identified for us. Once you will come out of this section, you will be have quite very comfortable understanding about how deployment works and those kind of the things. So suppose if you are QA, you are in meeting and somebody say that we this pod is crashing, or we this is not responsive enough, and uh, application is not available, those kind of the question you will able to understand what is happening behind the scene. And same goes with any other team like IT support people or developer, whatsoever they want. After coming from this lecture also, you will able to with minimal effort go on to the other vendors like Azure and Google Cloud, etc. Then we will touch on to the monitoring. So we will deploy Prometheus and Grafana. So they are the solution for monitoring. So Prometheus collect a lot of metrics from all of your deployment. So when you deploy these microservices and created a pod and those kind of the things, uh, they use the resources such as CPU, millicores, or memories consumption, those kind of the things. So Prometheus collects so much of the data from the metrics perspective, but that is kind of the data aggregator, kind of the data source. To make it more comfortable and meaningful, extract the KPIs out of that, we use Grafana, which is quite very course in itself, but we will touch base these both of the area, and we will try to understand how the memory, CPU, resource computing is look like on the front end at Grafana. We will see the alert if anything goes down. Suppose I need to get the Slack message, email message, we will do the exercise on that. We will learn how to keep getting the alert if anything fails into my deployment. Then there is very important aspect, that is our ELK stack. So you might may heard this word. That is a logging stash. So Elasticsearch, Logstash, Kibana, those kind of the word, if you have heard this, we will deploy onto our system, and we will see if we access anything, how the Kibana is going to generate the log. We are also going to see how we are going to aggregate different logs from all of those components which we have seen in the last slide. So comprehensively, these three things, monitoring, alert, and logging, this will give you the good understanding behind the scene. So the first two concepts let you deploy the thing your microservices. So it give you very broad understanding that how deployment works, how infrastructure works behind the scene, and this goes deep down, so you feel very comfortable. If you want to work into DevOps Kubernetes area, you should have the practical tool in your hand. You need not to look into much of the theory. You have the basics right, you know what is behind the scene you need to do, and you can contribute in that sense. Then we will go on to other area like readiness and liveliness. So we, until here we are deploying and doing the things. Here we are going to optimize and synthesize uh, our deployment. So how much memory we want to give, which kind of the CPU core percentage we want to give, those kind of the things we start realizing. And then here also we are also going to see what will happen if pod will die, how it will automatically regenerate. So the meaning of high availability of my application that comes into the picture. So high availability aspect, how in real sense you achieve that in the real world, those kind of the things. And then finally, very hot topic, uh, and it touched in most of the many interviews, that managing everything using Jenkins CI/CD. So we know that we definitely come across with some kind of the CI or probably the CD in our work. So Jenkins or Bamboo, Circle CI, something, or in AWS, we may have encountered different CI solutions. Here we are going to deploy the full architecture which we have seen using the Jenkins, and we are going to have the different stages. So we can have the complete rollout of CI/CD, and then we can understand how the propagation happen in dev, QA, prod, and those environments. So this is the basic broad sense of the outcome which we are going to cover in this section. So just to recap the earlier section, what we have discussed, we will start with the basics, where we will start with the foundation building block, like what is Docker. We will spend time on the Docker container, creating the images, getting the container runtime, those kind of the things. We will set up the virtualization mini cube on our virtual VM. Then we will understand the basics of Kubernetes. We will do lots of hands-on exercises. We will cover services, pod, replica set deployment, those kind of the things. And we will able to understand how the fundamentals works. Then we will move on to the microservice architecture, why it is so prominent into the market, why Kubernetes become a very known solution, why containerization becomes so successful in past 5-6 years. So that is very well related with the microservices architecture as well. So we will see the things over there. Then we will move everything onto the AWS. So we will whatsoever we have learned in the first lecture, we will mimic it on AWS and have the production grade deployment, where from the internet we can hit the web application and uh, able to see what is happening behind the scene. And I said that once you able to do, you need to enhance it. You need to deploy the capability around it. So we will go with the monitoring, alert manager, horizontal pod scaling, kind of the concept into detail. And then we will make uh, our solution more optimized, how it look like in real world, like how secret works, config map works, how we assign the memories, and how we see that which kind of the resources are good for which kind of the pod. So we look into that kind of the thing, and we conclude our training when we find how to manage everything using Jenkins with the CI/CD. So that is the overall course we are going to do. Any questions so far?
So basically, this is end-to-end stack, right? Like starting from deployment to monitoring and everything, right?
That is correct. So deployment, monitoring, enhancing using readiness and liveliness and horizontal pod scaling and everything, and then putting in on CI/CD as well.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay. Any further question, please? Okay. I'll proceed then. So how we are going to do, we have the chapters where we have, so for all doing all this, we have the different exercises, predefined exercises, and we have solutions for that. So you will get these files and everything. You will get the materials as well, whatsoever is required. So those kind of the things we need to do in the practical session. Until initially 3-4 session may involve the theory, but maybe 2-3 session. But after that there will be more about doing the thing and try to understand why it is happening and what is the problem that is solving. Like once you create a replica set, what it brings onto the table, why we required it on into the deployment, those kind of the things. So we will do most of the things in a hands-on way. I already have created have the Docker images, so we can reutilize. You need not to have the prerequisite to be a developer or to create any work. If you uh, if you want, you can do it, and you can still able to do all these things, but it is up to you. There is no need for doing any development. This is not a development course. Though the Docker session, we will create some kind of the code, try to put the image on Docker Hub and pull it as a container. But that is just to understand how container works, what containers brings onto the table in microservices architecture. Nothing more than that. You don't need any development skills further on after that point. Yeah. So these are the topics which I think the earlier question was. So ELK stack, Helm, monitoring, AWS, MongoDB persistence layer. These kind of the things we will see. We will also go into the networking, how Kubernetes manage intercommunication of between the containers. So that is over there. How we deploy the overall application will come up to the chapter 9. So these are the different aspects we will touch. Yeah. Any question on the hands-on nature? Okay, I'll proceed further. Thanks. So this is very pertinent question. Is this course suitable for me or not? So it is very essential. I mean to say it's mandatory from your side and very essential from my side as well, that I am going to add a value for you or not. So let me start with Green. Who will be benefit with this course? So this course will be, in my opinion, will benefit dev, QA, or IT support people, or whatsoever the IT people who wish to feel confident into the meeting. Sometimes we we don't know what is happening behind the scene, and few of the area always remain back of our mind because we feel very uncomfortable about them. For example, security, networking, deployment, infrastructure. These are the few area when somebody start talking about, we don't know what they are talking about. What is TLS certificate? What is DNS is going behind the scenes. So something, if you want to feel comfortable about your own application when you do the work, develop it, test it, support it, you feel little confident. You feel much confident actually if you have the containerization application in your tech stack. The second thing, know think how things work after the coding or testing. If you want to know more about it, that is good. If you want to learn the benefit of containerization in Kubernetes, and in future if you see that the containerization microservices are going to be a future, and if you want to kickstart your career in that way, that is good. The added advantage you will get, OpenShift. If you will, after seeing this course, working on this course, if you will go on OpenShift, you will find it is kind of the wrapper on Kubernetes, and what you have learned so far is just they have put UI on that, just a skin on that. So you will feel much more comfortable with one highlighted topic, that is OpenShift. And I think in couple of days you will able to have the similar level of expertise on that as well, because nearly all the names and all the concept remain same on that cloud. And it is also one of the widely popular uh, cloud computing platform, uh, along with AWS cloud, Azure and Google Cloud. Apart from that, when we will go in this course, we will have a lot of discussions around it, why we are doing, what problem it is solving. So once you will go for interview, you will able to articulate your answers in more broader sense, not particularly from your stream as well, but in broader sense, that how it may where you may able to understand others point of view, or you may able to articulate few more further points from different dimensions. And if you wish to know more about CI/CD as a deployer, as a whole, uh, containerized application deployment, this course may be suitable for you. The important bit is what is not suitable for you. So this course is not suitable for certification. So if you are preparing for AWS, CK, those kind of the certification, we are not going to cover much of the theory. And to be honest, it will require to go deep down into the admin part. So we are going to cover a lot of ecosystem altogether, but we are not going inside the admin part much. So for example, if you want to have the 10 different setting in one one pod, we are not going to cover that. So how the very internals are going to work, you required to uh, spend a few months on that, and this course is not looking for that. So we need to set the expectation correct, that we are not going to prepare. But one thing I can surely say, if you will start preparing, you will find yourself in very comfortable position, because you already have all what it required to start the preparation for that. The other thing, if you wish to learn Kubernetes config and admin in great detail, so again, as I touch base on the CKA, those part, you will feel comfortable, you will feel like at home, but you will require the extra effort over there. And if you are looking this course for that, that is not for it. If you are looking uh, any of the discussed technology in detail, they are a big topic in itself. So for example, if somebody use Grafana, Kibana, Jenkins, they are the topic in itself, and AWS, OpenShift as well. We are not going to drill so much detail. You will feel comfortable about those applications. That's it. You are not going to explore the detail about that particular solution. So Jenkins provide n-dimensional capabilities. We are going to deploy, we are going to create jobs, seeing that what is uh, output is looking like, and how we create webhook and those things. But Jenkins is far greater capable of doing many things. So we are not going to do that. Same goes with Grafana, Kibana, and Prometheus, those kind of the things. Yeah. Thinking doing this job will get you the job straight away without where to go from here advice. So this course will give you the good foundation building block. But to get the job, you require the additional understanding. Because when the interviewer asks you, they ask you different other accessories questions. So probably if you are going on the Linux Galaxy, there might be a question around Linux, Git, versioning control. Few question around the Jenkins may come into the picture. So though you will get the basic of the end-to-end deployment, but to prepare for the interview and crack the interview and get the job, you also need to put little effort into the auxiliary applications, which will which build the basic ecosystem of DevOps. Yes, I'm opening for the question. So anyone have any question in this slide? I will take it. No question. So I'll proceed further. Yeah, go ahead.
No, that's clear. Yeah.
That's clear. Okay. Okay. So let me bring you what is prerequisite of this course. You should have the AWS account. AWS may cost nearly $5 to $10 when we will do lot of hands-on exercise on AWS. So you should able to prepare to uh, uh, create a account that is come with a 12 month free tier account with AWS. And in our exercise, you may roughly overall cost nearly $5 to $10, maximum $10. But you need to be cautioned. We will able to tell what you need to see, but you need to delete all the resources once you finish your exercise and all. So we will provide that kind of the comfortability with you. So you need not to feel much alien about it, but you just need to understand that this is a prerequisite that uh, AWS account is going to come into the picture. You should have the machine which can have a 4 GB virtual machine Minikube. So we are going to install the virtual box, though it is not much necessary, but it is good for you. So this is my virtual box. I'm running a Minikube which having the 4 GB base RAM. So whatsoever exercise I'm going to do, I can do on my local laptop first for the basic part of the application, and then can move on AWS. If you are unable to do this, there is an online solution where you can spin off your cluster and can do practice around it. So that is over there. But the best part is if you have 8 GB memory or greater than that, and then you can create a Minikube on your machine. So that is again will help you a lot in your training. Again, I want to rewarn, we will create a AWS account. You need not to frighten about it. It won't cost more than $5 to $10 if you will follow what is going to given you in the training session. Yeah. So the other bit is duration. So this, as I said earlier, we capture the team capability and the speed defined mainly by this. So we have the weekday session that start with 6 p.m. We go for nearly 1.5 hour to 2 hour in that session, and weekday we go 10:30 a.m. That will go for 2.5 hour to 3 hour. But it mainly depend the if we are going to sum up our course in time or not, because this technical capability will set the tempo what we are going to follow for our course. So if we need to spend more time, we on some topic, we may take 3 weeks. So it is 2 to 3 weeks. Daily timing, it is Monday to Thursday. Friday is off, and then Saturday, Sunday for 2.5 hours. So this is the thing. These are the few pointer and exercise you will get anyway. So one more thing I want to highlight: when we start the any topic, we start with the entry and exit criteria, and we once as a group we feel that we are able to pass it, we are able to green it, then only we come out it. So we have the preset outcome of particular topic, and we should feel comfortable to exit it. So this is the composition of our finding. Uh, yeah, so in if you see, there are a lot of material. We have so much material to cover, uh, and it is quite in this sense, like it is in the entry and exit criteria for every topic we cover. So this is mainly we are going to have in our training. Any question on the timing, look and feel, and duration point of view?
So this is on weekdays or weekends only?
Okay, so again, it is from Monday to Thursday, 6 p.m. UK time for 1.5 hour to maybe 2 hour, and on weekend, Saturday and Sunday, 10:30 for 2 hour to 3 hour, depend how much comfortable group is, and it will run for 2 week to 3 week.
Okay.
Krishan, this is Ganesh here from UK. Where are you from?
I'm
Who is
from,
the main person behind? Who is running the course?
so we do have Yogi as a training coordinator. I'm an instructor. I'm going to take the sessions. I'm from UK, and everything is going to be from UK.
Okay, Yogi is the coordinator, course coordinator.
IT, yeah, course coordinator.
Okay, I'll speak to him. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So, any further question or any doubt? What outcome you will take it out from this course, or it is going to add value, or those kind of the question if you want to ask?
Yeah, like we saw some topics, right? You're saying like container, what is a Docker? So you go from basics and create those, and with some live application, or how that will, or else will touch base, or will have
No.
some live. uh,
So I really doubt theory is going to help much until you do dirty your hand into the stuff. So for example, this is a Docker quick start, and these are the, so we have the code base. You have to perform all these action. Mean to say, you have to see, you will get it and you can do your own. But we will able to find out how we are going to create a image, build it, put it on Docker Hub, and then what is the meaning of container, and then we will go deep into the meaning of container, how actually container becomes so powerful, what is our basic theory behind it, and what kind of the problem it resolve. So those kind of the thing, and then we will uh, change the code and try to create a new image and those kind of the thing. So that will be a comprehensive uh, section will happen. So this is one example of one topic which we are seeing here. So portion of theory, then everything hands on. So first hands on, then go back onto the portion of theory, then understand the interview question, like this is a interview question, probably virtual machine and container, and how behind the scene Docker works. So you need to say something about uh, you need to say something about namespaces in the pseudo file system in Unix. You need to say that it is a OS abstraction. Then you need to tell about what is the difference between OS abstraction and the physical resources abstraction. Those kind of the things we will go through, and then we will see how it is relevant to our course, and then we'll conclude over there. Yeah, so this is a composition, and then we will come back to the exit question, and then we will try to answer all of these. And if we still feel uncomfortable around these questions, then this will become red. And if it will become red, then we will spend little more understanding around this topic. So this is a way we actually deal with the questions. Yeah, if it answer your question, please.
Yeah.
Okay. Any further question? So thank you very much. This supposed to be a 45-minute to 1 hour session. I think we are good over here. You you can contact the coordinator if you wish, and any further question if you have, you can post it over there. Yeah. So I'm going to end this meeting. If anybody have any issue, just let me know, please.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much for all of you, and best of luck. Yeah. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.